Good morning, students. Welcome back to the new session of the next chapter, the tense. Previous chapter we studied about all the types of verbs, and now we are going to study in this chapter the different forms of the verb, how they are used to differentiate different sentences in terms of time. So what is tense? Let's begin with the definition of the tense. Tense is nothing but a form of verb that shows the time of an action, when the action was done. We have divided the entire time into three parts, that is your past time, present time and future time. So whichever time the action takes place, we refer it with the use of the tense. So what is tense? Tense is a form of verb that shows the time of an action or an event. For example, if I talk about this, Ravi went to market, here the word went is in simple past tense and I am talking about the past time. Next, I'll go to Delhi tomorrow, here I am talking about future tense, the time that is going to come. And in the last sentence, Sheila is cooking meal in the kitchen, that is your present time, the current time. So according to the time, the tense is of three types. Which are the three types? The present tense, the past tense and the future tense. What is present tense? Any action done in the present time is the present tense. That is your current time, the time that is going on. Past tense, action done in the past time. All those actions that has been over, that has been completed, comes under past tense. Next is your future tense. The future tense is nothing but the time that is going to come, the time that has not yet come. All those actions taking place in that time will be covered under future tense. Not only this, each type has been further classified into simple tense, continuous tense, perfect tense and perfect continuous tense. Before we go to individual type of tenses, let's study what each type of tense refers to. Why are they used in such categories? The first is your simple tense. What is simple tense? Whether it is simple present tense, simple past tense or simple future tense. Any action done in present time, past time or future time will come under simple tense. So simple tense simply tells the time of an action, when the action was done. Whether the action was done in the present time, past time or will be done in future. Now coming to continuous tense. As the word continuous itself states, the action is in progress. The action is in progress. The action is not yet over. It has started but not yet over. Coming to perfect tense. Perfect tense means the action is over but the impact of that action is still there. So what is perfect tense used for? It shows an action that is complete but the result is still there. Coming to perfect continuous tense, in this tense you will see the action is already started, it is going on, it is continuing in the present time and will continue further in the future time. Action began in past, continuing in the present time and will continue in future. So let's start with individual types. First comes your present tense. As stated, present tense will tell you all the action done in the present time. The first type of present tense is simple present tense. Simple present tense is a very complicated topic. Here we have different types of formats and used in various aspects. So we have to keep all those things in mind before we go to another tense. So let's study what is simple present tense. What does simple present tense state? It states that the action is done in the present time. Like you correct your mistake. Ram cooks food for his friends. Now if I consider this, you correct your mistake. Now whenever you are making mistake, that time is your present time. And whenever you are going to correct your mistake, while correcting it again is your present time. So we use for such sentences simple present tense. Let's study some more uses of simple present tense. The first one is to express a fact or an action taking place in present time. This is what we have discussed just now. Any action taking place in the present time is your simple present tense. Like Ravi never tells a lie. Now in this, you can see whenever you are speaking, you are not using any wrong word or you are not speaking any lie. So Ravi never tells a lie. And in such cases, in many simple present tense, we use certain adverbs. Never is a adverb. So we use some adverbs also along with simple present tense. Next condition is it is used to show habitual action. Habitual action means your habit. Those actions that you do every day. The actions that you do every day on a regular basis. That is your habitual action. Like I go to school every day. The action of going to school is done every day. So here I go to school every day comes under simple present tense. Here also you can see I have used the word adverb every day. Next condition is your universal truth. We can use simple present tense to express universal truth. Universal truth means a fact that was true for past, true for present and will be true for future time. Like the sun rises in the east. The sun rises in the east. The sun has been rising in the east since past time. Today also it rises in the east. And in future also it is not going to change its position. It is going to rise from the east only. So this is your universal truth. Another example of universal truth, you can say the earth revolves around the sun. Water boils at 100 degrees centigrade. All these are some more other examples related to universal truth. Next condition is your future planned action. Now how can we use future planned action as simple present tense? Now we know when the new session begins, a whole calendar is made. Full calendar is made for the whole year, which depicts each and every date for each and every event. Same way we have the dates for our exams also. And we know that final exam takes place either in Feb or in March. So right now it's not March. Right now it's not that month. Nor it's, as I say, it's my exam begins on 15th March. Today is not even 15th. Today is not even March. But still, keeping that date in mind, I am preparing myself for the final exam. So my preparation has begun. So the action or the act that is going to take place on 15th March, the preparation of that act has begun today, and hence we use simple present tense to talk about such future planned action. Clear? Next is your pattern, how to write a sentence in simple present tense. Now there are 4 types of sentences mentioned here: affirmative, negative, interrogative and interrogative negative. These are the 4 different types of sentences, how we express ourselves. Affirmative sentence is a positive sentence. These sentences will not have any negative word. So these are positive sentences. Next is your negative sentence, which will include your negative words like no, not, none. Negative sentences will include words like no, not, none. If these words are present in any sentences, we call the sentence as negative sentence. Next is your interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentence is used to ask questions. Whenever we have to ask question, we use interrogative sentence. Now this interrogative sentence can also be used in the negative form by using the same negative word no, not and none. So these are the 4 types of sentences. Now let us see how to use verbs in these type of sentences as simple present tense. So first comes your affirmative sentence. Here we have 2 formats. You can see 2 formats: subject plus verb first form and subject plus verb first form plus S or ES for third person singular. Now all these abbreviations that I have used, I have given the full form of those abbreviation at the base. So S is used for subject, V1 is used for base verb, root verb. We have already studied in the verb, there are three forms of verb: present verb, past verb and past participle verb. So first column, the verbs used in first column are known as root verbs, from which we are going to derive all the different types of verbs. Here I have used the verb go in all the 12 sentences. So wherever you will have the patterns, whenever we are going to study about different patterns of different tenses, you will see the use of word go. I have used one particular verb in all the 12 sentences, so that it's very clear for you how the same verb can be used in different tenses. So V1 is nothing but your base verb, root verb or main verb, always used in present form. So subject plus third verb, first form. All the person, we have studied in pronouns also. There are three persons: first person, second person and third person. So except for third person singular, all other persons are going to take verb first form. They are going to use verb first form. For example, I first person singular, we first person plural, you first person second person singular and plural both, and they third person plural. You can see first person singular, first person plural, second person singular and plural, as there is no change in the you forms, and third person plural, they are going to use verb first form. This is your verb first form. So I, we, you, they go to school. And for third person singular, we have subject plus verb first form plus S or ES for third person singular. For third person singular, you have been adding S or ES to make plurals. Till now you have been studying all that. But those are nouns. What are those? Those are nouns. Here we are going to add S or ES to verb first form to make it singular. So who are the third persons? He, third person singular masculine. She, third person singular feminine. It, third person neuter. And here I have used the name Ravi. It can be any name, name of any person, name of any book, name of any animal. All that comes under names. So all these four words come under third person singular, and they use verb first form plus S or ES. So here he, she, it, Ravi goes to school. Now since we have added ES to go, so it becomes goes. And third person singular will always have singular verbs. So you can see all these are singular subjects. So this is your singular verb. Clear? So affirmative sentence in simple present tense has two formats. One is your subject plus verb first form, and subject plus verb first form plus S or ES for third person singular. Clear? Now here only we are going to use the base verb as it is. But now when we are going to frame negative, interrogative or interrogative negative, we need the help of auxiliary verb. Now what is an auxiliary verb? Auxiliary verb is a helping verb. Means along with the main verb, you will have one more verb as auxiliary verb. So all these are helping verbs also we have studied in the verb chapter. So here in simple present tense, I am going to use the do forms. I am going to use the do forms, that is do or does as auxiliary verb. I am going to use do or does as auxiliary verb. Do for plural subject and does for singular subject. Do for plural subject, does for singular subject. So now what is a pattern for simple present tense in negative form? Subject plus do does plus not plus verb first form. Always remember, whenever we are using auxiliary verb in simple present tense, we are going to use verb first form. Clear? This you have to keep in mind, that verb first form is always used with auxiliary verb in simple tense. So your negative sentence pattern for simple present tense is subject plus do does plus not plus verb first form. What will be the sentence now? He does not go to school. Now he is singular subject, so your verb will be singular verb. He is your singular subject, so does will be your singular verb. So he does not go to school. Now your verb is does and go, not not. Does and go is your verb and not is an adverb, showing negation, showing negative impact. So that has been put in other color and it has been highlighted because that is a format. Does not go is your format. So that is why it also has been highlighted. So your sentence is he does not go to school. Now if I have to use plural subject, what will be the answer? I do not go to school. They do not go to school. That will be your plural sentence in plural form. Clear? So you can use in either way. Do for plural subject and does for singular subject. You can also write just like this. You can write I, we, you, they do not go to school and he, she, it, Ravi goes to school. So in both the way you can use it. Now coming to interrogative. When you are doing interrogative sentence, whenever you are writing about interrogative sentence, one thing you have to keep in mind is inversion of subject and verb. Inversion of subject and verb. In interrogative sentence, verb always comes before the subject. Verb always comes before the subject. So your interrogative sentence begins either with WH word or with the auxiliary verb. So here we are not going to study about anything about the sentence. Instead we are going to use only auxiliary words to begin the sentence. So since it is your simple present tense, the simple present tense uses auxiliary verb do or does. So your interrogative format is do or does plus subject plus verb first form. Now same thing, whatever we have framed earlier, you can just invert the subject and verb and you will get the sentence. Like, does he go to school? Does he go to school? Now here auxiliary verb, subject, verb first form and your object. Clear? Does he go to school? Next format is interrogative negative. Here also you simply have to add not. But remember, all the adverbs or all the additional words that we are going to add in a sentence comes after the first auxiliary. Always remember, it comes after the first auxiliary. Now since it is an interrogative sentence, so you will have auxiliary verb and after that it will be followed by a subject and then you are going to use the verb not. Like in this sentence you see subject plus do does. Now this has been inverted. This has been replaced with each other. So subject plus do does becomes do does plus subject. So this will only change, rest all the part, this part will remain as it is. So you can see subject plus do does change to do does plus subject and the remaining not plus verb first form remained as it is. So your interrogative negative sentence will have do does plus subject plus not plus verb first form. And in the sentence form you will have does he not go to school? Clear? And here you can see this is third person singular used in the affirmative sentence. This is your third person singular referred to as in that abbreviated form. Next is your present continuous tense. Present continuous tense, present time, current time, continuous, the work is in progress. So present continuous tense is going to talk about all those actions which are in progress in the present time. Now this present time may be at the time of speaking or your regular habitual actions that you are continuing for certain period of time and that work will end. Example, Meena is singing a song, they are sleeping there. Now as I earlier said, your entire time is divided into 3 time zones, that is your present, past, future. So you can see here I have drawn the timeline. This line is your timeline. And I am talking about present continuous tense. So now you can see this bold line which is made is your action in progress. This denotes the action in progress in present time. So this is the time where I am speaking, I am talking to you. Action has already begun in the past time and will continue for some time in the future. So this total timing that you see, is the continuous time for which the action has been continued. Let's study about the uses of present continuous tense. What are the uses? First, to indicate an action going on at the time of speaking. Right now I am teaching you. The example is the teacher is teaching the class. Right now I am teaching you. Did I start teaching just now? No. I started some time back and it is going to continue for some more time. So teacher is teaching in the class. Whatever I said just a moment back is also a part of continuous activity because that part is linked with current time. So teacher is teaching the class. Right now the action of teaching is in progress. The whole action of teaching is in progress. So present continuous tense. It is also used to express an action that may actually not be taking place at the time of speaking. It may actually not be taking place at the time of speaking. Like, my father is writing a book. My father is writing a book. Does he write the whole day? No. He is writing a small piece of his creativity a day and continuously he continued this for number of days. So this also becomes present continuous tense. My father is writing a book. Actually he might be not be writing at now. He has written in the morning. Again he is going to continue tomorrow. So this is your again present continuous tense. Like simple present tense, we are going to use present continuous tense for future planned action as well. Now what are those future planned actions that will use present continuous tense? Because any future plan cannot be in continuation. So how it is in continuous tense? Let us see. My uncle is arriving tomorrow evening. Right? My uncle is going to arrive tomorrow evening. He has started his journey. Now what is in continuation? His travel and my excitement. I am excited to meet him. I am waiting for him to come soon. So that my waiting process is in progress. That is in continuation. His journey is in continuation, which is going to end tomorrow evening. So his journey, my excitement, my wait, all these are in continuous progress. It is in progress. It is continuing. So that is why we use present continuous tense for all most of the future planned action. An action about to take place in near future. Understood? Now this is one very important aspect of your present continuous form. All the verbs cannot be used in ing forms. There are many verbs which cannot be used in ing forms. Now what are those verbs? The first one is verbs of senses, perception, that you can feel, that you can just feel but cannot touch, cannot express. That is your verbs of senses, like hear, see, smell, taste. For all these things we are not doing any action. No action has been done at all. Clear? So these are verbs, some of the verbs of senses that cannot be used in continuous form. For example, flower smells sweet. It is not that flower is smelling sweet right now, and when the flowers rots or one decays or dries, it will not smell. Even a dried flower has the same smell. That is how we prepare the essence and all. Perfumes and all are prepared in this from the dried flowers only. No? So, flower smells sweet. Flower in whatever form it is, unless and until it is not artificial. Keep that in mind. An artificial flower cannot give you smell. So that you have to keep in mind. So flower smells sweet. So in whatever form is the flower, it will give you a fragrance. So I cannot say flower is smelling sweet. This is absolutely wrong. Same stands true for I see clouds in the sky. Here also I am seeing is wrong. Now what's the difference between see and look? When you see, your eyes is a sense of perception. You are moving around and many things you see. So this is not your action. Your eyes is not doing any action. It perceives wherever your eyes fall. It perceives the image. But when does it become action words? When you stare, when you gaze at something. Like look at that flower. Now what happens? All your concentration is at that particular flower. So there you are performing the action of looking at that particular flower. Even someone is calling from behind you, it doesn't affect you. You are continuously gazing at that flower. So that look becomes your action verb, but see is not an action verb. All the verbs that you are going to study in this category is non-action verbs. They all are non-action verbs. They are not going to perform any action. It is simply a perception. It is simply a perception. Coming to the next, feelings or emotions. Feelings, like you feel cold. Then emotions, you feel sad. All such words can be expressed by using verbs like feel, want, desire, fear, love, etc. Clear? You can use these verbs to express your feelings or emotion. There are many more. Here are only some. Let's go to examples. I love watching movies. You cannot say I am loving to watch movies or I am loving watching movies. This is absolutely wrong. I love watching movies. I love sweets. I love children. You don't say I am loving children. Clear? So this is I love watching movies. Then here also I feel cold. I feel hot. Most of the time we say I am feeling cold. I am feeling hot. It's absolutely wrong. That is a wrong formation of the sentence. We say I feel cold. Next state is your mental state. Mental state. A state which helps you to memorize. A state that helps you to remember, understand things, recollect things, believe things. All this comes under mental states. And the verbs are know, believe, forget, think, etc. As I said, remember, understand, all this comes under mental state. How do we form sentences? I know the answer. You don't say I am knowing the answer. Again wrong. You say I know the answer. For knowing the answer, you have not done any task. Clear? Now you may say, ma'am, we have studied. We learn. Everybody learns. But do you think everyone remembers? No. So knowing and remembering, they both are different things. Sometimes what happens, any explanation is going on and before that only you know the answer. Before that only you say, ma'am, I know the answer. Clear? So knowing is not a kind of any action word. It does not have anything related to do. You already know. So you say, I know the answer and I am knowing is wrong. Again, I forget to reply any letter. That is your habit. It has become your habit. It is not your habit, but it has become your habit to forget to reply to any letter. So you cannot say I am forgetting to reply any letter. This is wrong. Next is your verbs of appearing. That shows how the thing appears. Clear? For this we use seem, become, appear, cost, contain, etc. Example, the pen costs 7 rupees. The pen costs 7 rupees. You don't say the pen is costing. Clear? You don't say pen is costing. So the pen costs 7 rupees. Next example is it seems bad. You don't say it is seeming bad. It seems bad. It seems bad means it looks like something it's bad. So it seems bad is the right answer. Next is your verb showing possession. Verb showing possession. Now what are these possession? As I say, ownership, belongingness, all these are possessions. So we use the verbs own, belong, have, etc. All these are different verbs showing your possession. Example, the book belongs to me. The book belongs to me. You don't say the book is belonging to me. Here this also is very common. You say this house is belonging to me. Often, many a times we speak. This is wrong. Another common example, I am having the book. We say I am having the book. This is also wrong. You say I am having the pen. Again wrong. Your answer should be I have the book. I have the book. I have the pen. Not I am having. This is wrong. But in certain cases, these ing forms are correct. Like I am having dinner. There is nothing wrong in this sentence. This sentence is absolutely correct, having the correct meaning. So how to differentiate? First of all, remember all these words which we have discussed so far are non-action words. Means they are not performing any kind of action, like no. I am not performing any action. Believe, no action has been performed. Become, no action has been performed. Appear, again no action. Own, no action. Belonging, no action. So all these has not performed any action. But here when I say having, here having does not mean as possession. Here when I say I am having dinner, here the word having does not mean possession. You can see have has been included under possession. So as long as the word have means possession, you cannot use it in ing form. But as soon as it changes its meaning, you can use it. So I am having dinner is correct. So let's see some more examples of such non-action words used as action words. Here is a list of some example. You can see I am minding the class. You say I am minding the class. Now here mind is again your non-action word. You cannot use mind as ing. But here when I talk about I am minding the class, the word mind does not mean your brain. Mind, this mind. Minding means looking after. So when I say I am minding the class, it means looking after. Next is your I am thinking of going to Delhi. Now here just now we spoke that thing cannot be used with ing. Just now I spoke. Thing cannot be used with ing. So I am thinking of going to Delhi. Here the word think does not mean to think something. Here you are working on some aspect. I am thinking of going to Delhi. So you are working on the idea of going to Delhi. You want to go to Delhi. So you are working on that. Now what is the work you are going to do? You are going to get the tickets ready well in advance. You are going to arrange your clothes. then foods. So many things are there. Then your lodging, you will try to get a hotel booked beforehand. So all this work that you are going to do, you are working on, you are acting. So there the action is being done, and hence I am thinking of can be used as present continuous tense with ing, meaning work on. Clear? Here I am not thinking, this think is not the mental status, but here the word think means to work on. To work on the idea of whatever idea, whatever aspect you are talking about, but you are working on that. Next, I am having lunch. Here the word having means eating. Here the word have is not possession. You are eating. So the action is being done here. So I am having lunch is eating. Here having means eating, not possession. Same way, seeing. Here seeing is not perception. I am seeing the principal tomorrow. So you are not going to just go and see, or it's just casual. You are going to have a well prepared meeting with the principal. You know what are you going to principal for, what are you going to talk to him. All this is pre-planned. So I am seeing the principal tomorrow is correct, because here the word see means meeting, not perception. Clear? Here seeing means meeting. So these are some of the examples which can be used as action words and can be used with INGs. Understood? I hope it is clear to you. You can, if it is not clear, you can go through again and again, and I hope it will be clear to you. Now coming to patterns again, how to frame present continuous tense in all the 4 formats of sentences. That is your affirmative. Now in affirmative sentence also we will have subject, and instead of do does I am going to use is, am, are. These are the be forms of verb. What are they? Be forms of verb. So is, am, are. Here I am going to use it as auxiliary verb. So is, am, are plus verb fourth form. What is verb fourth form? Verb fourth form is nothing but the verb first form plus ing. Whenever you add ing to the base form of the verb, it becomes your verb fourth form. So is, am, are is for singular, am for first person singular I, and are for all plural. So you can see he is going to school, they are going to school, I am going to school. So you can use he, she, it going to school, I am going to school, are will be used as they are going to school. Now again, as I said, I have used the verb go in all the patterns. Understood? Next is your negative. Now in present tense, in simple present tense, we did not have any auxiliary verb, so we introduced the auxiliary verb, do and does. We did not have any auxiliary verb there in the affirmative form. So what did we do? We introduced do and does. But in case of present continuous tense, we already have the auxiliary. So we are going to use the same auxiliary verb in your negative sentence with not. So your pattern becomes subject plus is, am, are plus not plus verb fourth form. And this is how you have to learn also. Once you know the patterns, it is very easy for you to write the sentences. So you have to learn all the patterns. This pattern should be clear. And how you are going to learn? In the same manner. Subject plus is, am, are plus verb fourth form. Affirmative sentence. Subject plus is, am, are plus not plus verb fourth form. Negative sentence. Is, am, are plus subject plus verb fourth form. Interrogative sentence. Is, am, are plus subject plus not plus verb fourth form. Interrogative, negative. So you are going to learn one by one, not all together. Or if you learn all together, it will be jumbled up. Rather, it's very easy to learn in this manner. Subject plus is, am, are plus verb fourth form. Interrogative will just replace this is, am, are with subject. So here it becomes is MR plus subject plus verb fourth form. Same way, negative subject plus is MR plus not plus verb fourth form. Replace verb with subject and subject with verb, and you get interrogative negative as is MR plus subject plus not plus verb fourth form. So if you learn one or two patterns, it is very easy for you to remember the other patterns. The more we understand and apply will be easier as compared to by hearting. So try to understand the concept and then frame it in different types of sentences. So affirmative we have subject plus is MR plus verb fourth form. Example is he is going to school. I am going to school. They are going to school. Negative, he is not going to school. I am not going to school. They are not going to school. Interrogative, is he going to school? Am I going to school? Are they going to school? Interrogative negative, is he not going to school? Am I not going to school? Are they not going to school? Clear? So this is your pattern about your present continuous tense. Let's study the next present tense, that is a present perfect tense. Now present current time and perfect action over with result. So now what is present perfect tense? It shows that an action is just over but the result is still there. Now whenever we say action is over, it should be in past tense, right? Yes, that's true. But if those actions has any impact, any effect on the present time, then we call it as present perfect tense. Though the action is over, but the result is still there. You can still feel the impact. It can still have the effect of that action. Then you say it's present perfect tense. For example, they have sold their computer. John has taken my books. Now I can come to timeline. This is your timeline, talking about the past action and the present time. Now action is over here and the result is seen in the present time. Right? Now how do we study this? You can see past and present are linked. The effect of the past action that is completed, already over, the action is already over. The effect of that past action still lies on the present time. Now how do they lie? Let's see. They have sold their computer. When I say they have sold their computer, that means they do not have computer anymore. When I say John has taken my books, that means I don't have those books right now with me. Clear? So now you can see how the past action and present action are interconnected or related to each other. Now let's see how the present perfect tense are used. Just now we saw how present and past actions are related to each other. So other uses are to indicate actions completed in immediate past. Those actions which has been over just a short while ago. Those actions are also referred by using present perfect tense. For example, the clock has just struck 10. Means just few moments back the clock has struck 10, and the impact of this action is, if it is morning 10 o'clock, I have to go to school, and if it is evening or night 10 o'clock, that means it's time for bed. Next is to denote actions began in the past but continuing till the present time. Those actions which started in the past, whose time is not mentioned. Here present perfect means the time is not mentioned when the action began. Clear? So, and continuing till the present time. Like, I have known him for 10 years. For 10 years I have been knowing him, and now also I know him. So such actions are also referred by using present perfect tense. Next is to express actions whose time is unknown. Any action whose time is unknown. We don't know when the action took place. We don't know when the action was completed. But the result is there. For example, he has completed his graduation. Here what does it mean? He has done his graduation, so now he is known as a graduate. He has all the information till graduation level. So he has completed his graduation. Here this is your present perfect tense. Next action is, or next use is, those actions whose effect is more important than the action itself. We are going to talk about such actions whose effect is more important rather than the action itself. For example, I have completed my work. Now, completion has nothing to do with that. But what is the effect of that completion of the work? Now I am free. What is the effect? That I am free. So here I have completed my work. Here have completed is your present perfect tense, denoting the effect of the action of completion of your work. The result is you are free now. In present perfect tense also we can use certain adverbs like just, already, never, yet. Some of the uses we have already seen. So you can use adverbs also to denote your present perfect tense. Here comes your pattern. Pattern is same, but in perfect tense, instead of other verb forms, I am going to use verb third form. So your pattern reads subject plus has, have plus verb third form. Subject plus has, have plus verb third form. Example, he has gone to school. Again, I have used the same word go in your present perfect form. So he has gone to school. Now has refers to the singular subject he, and if I have plural subject, I will have I have gone to school, they have gone to school. This is how we read as. Clear? Negative, subject plus has, have plus not plus verb third form. Now here I am going to use not as earlier stated after the first auxiliary. Whenever there is a first auxiliary, you are going to use the verb not. So he has not gone to school. Example is he has not gone to school. Interrogative, has, have plus subject plus verb third form. Again in interrogative, inversion of subject and verb. Example, has he gone to school? Interrogative negative, has, have plus subject plus not plus verb third form. Has he not gone to school? So this is how we frame the sentences in present perfect tense in different forms. So here you can also use have they not gone to school? Have I not gone to school? So these are the different patterns how we frame present perfect tense. Next is your present perfect continuous tense. Now it is perfect also and it is continuous also. So perfect means I am going to use the verb has, have, and continuous means I am going to use ing form of the verb. So present perfect continuous tense. What does it state? It shows that an action began in the past and is still continuing. Means the action is not yet over. And in future when it will be over, that is also not clear. So examples are, you have been doing your work since morning. Means you started your work in the morning, but still you are continuing doing your work. You have not finished your work as yet. And we don't know when that work is going to get over. Mr. Raj has been working as the managing director for a year. Now you can see their time phrase is given since morning for a year. So whenever you are using present perfect continuous tense, we make use of the time phrase. Here also you can see. So what does it mean? When I say Mr. Raj has been working as a managing director for a year, it means that for 1 year, means since last 1 year, he is working as a managing director, and today also he is acting on the same post. This is your timeline. You can see action began in the past and is continuing till the time of speaking, and it will continue further in the future too. It is not yet over. Coming to uses of present perfect continuous tense. It is used to express an action that began in the past and is still going on. That is what we have seen in the definition. I have been playing cricket since morning. So you started playing in the morning and still you are playing. Right now also you are playing cricket. Next, to express an action that has just completed. Action is just over, short while ago. Suchi has been talking to some people. She has been talking to some people. Just a short while ago, she was talking to some of the people. And she continued for a long period of time. So, we are going to use present perfect continuous tense. Now, as I mentioned, for perfect continuous tenses, we use different time phrases. So, what are the time phrases and how do we use them? Generally, time phrase is used by using certain prepositions like since, by, from, and for. And it is very important to understand the difference between all the four prepositions. This is where we make maximum mistakes. We have to use by, we are using since. We have to use since, we are using from. We have to use from, we are using for. This is the most common mistakes done by the students. So we have to be very careful while using these prepositions. I'll try to explain you in the simplest possible way. I hope you will. It will be helpful to you. So first preposition is since. What is since? Since is used for some point of time in the past. Some point of time in the past. Now which point of time? When we talk about point of time means what? A particular moment. So when I'm using since, I will have the beginning time of the action, not the ending time. I know when the action begins. So I have the beginning time. So since, whenever you have the time when the action began, you can use the preposition since. Example, I have been studying since morning. So you started studying in the morning. I have the beginning time. That morning you started, but I don't know how long you studied. But still you are studying. Your action is still in progress. So I have been studying since morning. You are representing your time phrase by using since. Coming to by. By is the latest time. By is the latest time at which an action will be over. The train will have been arriving by 6 p.m. Train is on journey. Train has started its journey. Action began. When it began, I don't know. But when it's going to end is 6 p.m. So I know the ending time. Here I know the ending time, not the beginning time. Since we had the beginning time, by we have the ending time. Coming to from. From denotes the starting point also and ending point also. From denotes starting point as well as the ending point and is generally used with another preposition to. We say from to. What do we say? From to. This time to that time. So that is how I have beginning time also and ending time also. Example, I have been studying in this school from 2011 to 2016. Suppose you have visited your old school and then you say, I have been studying in this school from this year to that year. Clear? So you have been studying there for 5 years. That is from 2011 when you started studying in that school and when you ended studying in that school. After this you changed it. Or you completed your high school and intermediate and left this. Clear? Coming to the last time phrase, for. For. It shows a period of time. For shows period of time. That is your duration. It neither has a beginning time nor it has the ending time. It has a duration from this time to this time. It has only the duration. I have been playing cricket for 2 hours. You have played cricket for 2 hours. But how? It's not necessary you played at a stretch, nor it is necessary that you have taken the breaks. What I know is I have played for 2 hours. Clear? So you can play at a stretch continuously for 2 hours, or you can take breaks half of an hour throughout the day. You played 4 times. So a day for total 2 hours you played the game. So this is how we use for. For is used for duration. From is used for those actions which has a starting as well as ending time. By is used for the action that denotes the time of completion, that is your ending time, and since tells you about the point of time, that is the beginning of the action. Clear? Here comes your pattern. Affirmative, subject plus has have plus been plus verb fourth form. Verb fourth form again verb first form plus ing, base form plus ing. He has been going to school. They have been going to school. I have been going to school. Negative. Subject plus has have plus not plus been plus verb fourth form. He has not been going to school. He has not been going to school. Interrogative, inversion of subject and verb. You will have has have plus subject plus been plus verb fourth form. Has he been going to school? Interrogative negative. Has have plus subject plus not plus been plus verb fourth form. Has he not been going to school? Now remember where to put not. Not is used after the first auxiliary. Here also you can see first auxiliary. Now I have 3 verbs here. So where am I going to use not? Not after the first auxiliary. What students do? Has been not going to school. This is how they write. That is wrong. It is has not been going to school. Always remember adverbs to be added after first auxiliary. Clear? So always keep in mind the correct position of not. Otherwise what will happen? In spite of knowing the pattern, you will make mistakes. That's all for your present tense. Hope you have understood this. You will go through this. The only thing what you have to do is learn patterns, understand the patterns and continue practicing. Take any particular verb and try to frame it in all the possible 12 tenses. Clear? And not only 12 tenses, since we have done present tense, so you have 4 tenses with 4 types of sentences. So in all the patterns, you should be able to frame that verb. Clear? Goodbye. Thank you.